You have questions, we have answers. This is Jane Muller.
And this is Ken Muller. Welcome to our show, all about real estate with Ken and Jane. Well, Jane, it's hard to believe that we're doing now the market recap for half of the year, meaning that half of the year is already gone of 2026, and we got
actually a little bit more than half a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes the closing and everything may not finish yet.
Right.
So you have to wait, allow a week or so for them to finalize that. And especially last week, we had the previous mayors from Edison. That was a really good interview. I mean, I really admire her.
As all people should, as women. She's really a role model for all the women out there.
And
Ken,
that's
role model
debatable,
for
right?
everybody.
I feel like, right, sometimes it's a double-sided sword, right? I mean, she's a woman, but I'm a woman. I don't want to be doing something or get some opportunities because I'm a woman.
Right.
I get there because I'm capable to do so, right?
Right.
So, I mean, she's a wonderful person, very good mayor to make things working for all the township resident. And plus, she's a woman. So.
Right, and I think now it's different than it was 20 years ago when the expectation was when a woman achieved something like, wow, there they go, they can do it, go woman power. But now it's almost like she said at the end, it's almost like it's about time another woman step up. It's an expectation now, no longer is an applause. It's something that women are already regarded as equal, and they should be entitled, and they should have the. It's not it's something that she's saying like, hey, let's get some more women involved.
That's right. Ken. Today's off the topic now, right?
No,
it's just like off the but when I was born, raised in China, right? You would think China is a communism country, and people have no saying in the government and so on and so forth, right? But one thing I can tell you, since the day I was born, I was trained, to believe women own half of the world. So that's something, the Chinese government did it right.
Yeah.
So the women, since we were little, we were taught we are half, 50-50 with the men. And the job, everything, opportunity, everything, we are half and half. Truly, that's the case. It's debatable, depends who you ask. But that's how I was raised. So that's why in my life and career, right, we always partnership. Always, you don't have to be everything calculated 50-50. Something is your strength, sometimes your weakness. But still, women is really, I think another thing is like as a woman, right? We want to have the opportunity, we want to have the right. But at the same time, we should take over the half the responsibility too. It's like it's going hands in hands, right? You have to do. Yeah,
with the power comes the responsibility.
What do people do? You have to, like if you're not in your way, guys just like had a big fight in the meeting and argue, and then the end of the day, they shake hands, they go get a beer, everything's good. A lot of women like us, we will remember that, right? Sometimes I have to keep telling myself, right? I have to behave the way what's right to behave rather than hold, inside. Just put everything on the table and discuss and move on, right? Yeah. But anyway, that's enough of my...
Yeah, let's get more to the favorite topic of data. That's what I want to talk about, data. Data-driven.
Let's go back to...
Data drives everything in the market, in real estate, and stocks.
Not only data, let's go back what I do the best, the real estate, rather than give an opinion on something.
You gave a good pitch for women in the marketplace and being active in leadership roles. So that's a good
That's right.
Thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So now turning back to the real estate market. So as we said, we're going to recap now the first 6 months of 2026 based on the All Jersey MLS data and do a little comparison of how the 2026 first half compared to the prior 2 or 3 years in terms of homes on the market, those sold, list price, all that good stuff.
You know what? Absolutely. What I'll do, Ken, I know how much you love data, right?
Sure.
So we will go through your favorite tab. Today I have the data ready.
Right.
So trust me. Normally I just go by God's feeling, but today I did the data. We'll go through that first, and then I will share what I sense in the market, because a lot of time, right? I believe data is very important. Absolutely, I used to be an industry analyst in the bank days, in my old days in the financial industry. But data is only tell you what happened in the past.
Right.
I think in today's market, right, it's very important for the seller and buyer get it right for today's market. That's very important because, look it back. I mean, obviously, I represent most sellers these days, right? Back in 2007, when the market started going down, the second half in 2007, a lot of sellers said, oh, I'm not in a rush. I'll wait for next year, the market going up. And then when they come to 2008, and then they didn't see the number 2007. And then they said, we're not in a rush. They keep changing agent every 6 months or a year. And then when they get to 2009, they said, I would accept the offer we had the last time with the other agent. But that offer gone.
Gone because
and then
the market
10,
was declining.
And 11, 12, by the time 11, 12 comes, the seller, if they have to sell, once again, if they don't, they can hold for another few years. That's not a problem. But for the people who had a plan to move out the state or something, they have to sell. And then the harsh reality hit.
Yeah, so they were trying to chase their shadow they could never catch because they were always a little bit higher than the market was at that time. So they started in 2007 at a price that was above what the market price was. They kept lowering it, but then the market kept declining, so they were never...
Quicker. The market went down quicker. Like you said, chase the shadow.
So,
they came down quicker than they anticipated. So they said, I will accept the last offer, that number. But last offer was 6 months ago or 4 months ago. Time changed. Now they have to go even lower. But having said that, I don't see that's happening in today's market. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to tell everybody rush to get out as soon as you can. No, that's not today's message, right? Today, I don't think the market is going to straight going down. But if today you got an offer, you're not happy, you think tomorrow or next year, 6 months later, you get better, think again. You're lucky if you get the same number. But I'm not saying they're going to dramatically go down like last time. I don't think so. I think maybe the market is still keep this way, for couple of years or more.
But just as an overview, when was the last time the market dramatically went down? When did that end? When did the market, it went down starting in 2007 and all the way down to 2012?
2013 they came back, but they didn't come back straight away.
But
2013 they came back just like slightly from the bottom. So you see the movement because 11 and 12, you don't have a buyer. You don't get an offer that time. There's a lot of houses, no offer. You have to really lower to the certain point. I remember 2013, there was a lot of Wall Street put money in. They crazily buying house. So, and then there was other people, because when they started buying house, people say, oh, that must be the bottom. Because a lot of people were sitting on the fence, came out buying a house too. Plus, the economy gets slightly better in 11 and 12. So that's a combined reason. But there wasn't overnight, you wake up in the morning, the housing market come back. It was just gradually.
And that's when REOs, foreclosures were prevalent.
Yeah.
And now that industry is very, very minimal now. Because very minimal.
Nothing.
Because, you might hear that it doubled, but it doubled from one foreclosure to two. It's nothing significant.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then, Ken, from 2013 to 2019, even to 2020, that was coming back very slightly. It's little by little, but nothing dramatic. If you bought a house 2026, per example, 2006, right? If you didn't sell 11, 12, and you hold on to
the storm.
Yeah, even you go back to 2019.
Right.
Okay. You may not break. You still have to probably break even or lose a little.
Wow,
because the market went down 20-25%, 11 and 12. So if you stayed in 2019 or early 2020 before the COVID hit, right? You're pretty much lucky. You break even at that, or even lower, right? Past the commission and selling costs, right? You may still, But after COVID, the market went crazy.
Right. So just stop there, though. But so from 2006, it took, if you held your home through 2006 and you weathered this
you better say
storm,
2007 because that started
the
going
highest
down.
storm. And then if you weathered it, it would take almost 13 to 14 years before you get back to the 2006 levels. So it went down, 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 and then it slowly went up again starting in 2013. And it wasn't until 2020, roughly, give or take, that you could say the home value in 2020 was equivalent to what it was in 2006.
I think
roughly.
2020, the end of 2020, 2021. Because think about it, the COVID, we started shut down in March.
But that was 2020.
So that was and then there was a shutdown for 3 months. And then the market didn't heat up until August.
Right.
So remember that time? So actually, the market started when I believe.
Well, I would say the summertime. There was long lines for because there was.
August. July, August. So because you shut down, only open up till May. So, so I think the market went back to the heydays, the last rise, about the end of 2020, 2021. After that, oh my God, the market just
now we can talk about
crazy up.
Since 2021, it's gone up. Since pre-COVID and COVID, it went up 30%.
Oh, more than that. Now it's
now
50% is easily compared with that. And some of houses, if you bought in 2011, 12 foreclosure, a lot of my clients almost doubled. Almost doubled. Some more than doubled. Depends if you got foreclosure house, you doubled. And one of my clients bought a home. It's like 158,000 single family because in 2007 that house was sold 300 something, right? So we got 158. So we sold last year. It's like a 460, 475.
Wow.
She's all the way in the money, right? So the market definitely went up every year. In fact, Ken, I thought, to be honest, right, I thought the market would stop in 2 years ago.
Well, a lot of analysts did because it seems like if it goes up that quickly, there's got to be a point where it's got to reach a cap and then maybe a slow decline. That's like economic cycles. They go in like sine waves usually.
Yes, but it didn't. Last year, 2 years ago, I thought that's gonna be done. It didn't. And even early this year, right, the market is kind of last year, September, the market went down a little. And this year came back, even though despite the heavy snow, the market was doing fine until later, and market start to be a little bit softer again. So I think this almost like tug of war, right? At the moment, the seller and buyer, some months the seller's better, some months buyer better. Depends on the availability, the inventory.
Yeah.
And
so we're going to look at the numbers, but basically you would say the market is very stable. It definitely hasn't gone down.
It went down a little.
A little bit. Oh, since
it goes slower a little bit.
Slower down. Yeah.
Slower a little bit because if you look at some house on the market, they on the market slightly longer than last year. Definitely much longer than before. Used to be you sell one weekend. Yeah. Now average sell is about a month inventory. Average. Some house still sell first weekend, but others may take 2-3 months.
Comparison to what it was, I remember back in the days 10 years ago and doing open houses, it wasn't uncommon to have a home on the market for 2 to 3 months as active before.
Maybe 6 months, 8 months.
Yeah, because you were carrying a lot more, because list agents like yourself were carrying a lot more inventory as active. Yes. And you needed to do a lot more open houses because it was just the nature of the beast. The time needed to sell. All right, when we get back from break, we're going to look at the numbers and see what the numbers say about the market.
Okay,
stay with us.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to our show. So Jay, now we've been talking about the market and about about the history of it, and let's see what the numbers say for let's talk about the pricing for the first half of 2026.
I would like to talk about the new listing first. Because everything when in our business, as you know, is listing inventory driven. Okay, Chinese have a old saying. Doesn't matter how skillful the chef is, if there's no rice, no vegetable, you can't cook.
Yeah.
Because that time, obviously,
That's-
report, the only thing we have is the rice and the
Yeah,
vegetable. So you could say, why don't you cook fish and the steak,
but you
right?
gotta,
But that time, so you have to have something to work with.
Sure.
So number one thing in any market, you have to have inventory.
yeah.
Without inventory,
There is no market.
There's no market. If you look at the January 2024, 5, 6, I did a 3 years comparison with the inventory, right? Because you can't add them up. Because this thing is you can't add them up. I do it by month, right? And then overall you can see the trend. So in January, it's a 2,133 for 2024, 2,467 for 2025, 2026, 2,717. Okay. I will do percentage-wise. That's easier for people not very good at numbers.
And this is
right?
based on the old Jersey MLS data.
That's old Jersey MLS. Once again, that's not entire New Jersey. That's only for old Jersey MLS.
And those are homes that were actively listed.
No, this is a new listing.
New listings.
That
right.
has to be active that time.
New listing, yeah.
Yeah. Say if they sold overnight, but they still say if they list the house in January, they sold one day. Remember, my house sold one day.
Sure.
So you're still in January new listing.
Right. Okay. So roughly 2,700.
Compare with 2027 over 2024 is 27% more inventory hit the market.
Okay.
Compare with 2025 is 10%. So back in January, the market have a lot more inventory than the last 2 years. Okay, and February comes, right? I better skip the number, so because otherwise 2,270 versus 2,504 versus 2,685. Just do it percentage wise. The 2026 is roughly 18% more than 2024, 7% more than last year.
Okay, so in recap, then for January and February of 2026, there was more. There was 20% plus more inventory as compared to the prior year. So,
and here March, so almost 3,000 new home hit the market 2020. Even though despite a snow. Remember March, how cold it is?
Yeah, February was cold. We had
February,
we
March,
had like 2 or 3 major storms this year. It was
more than
really,
2 or 3.
major, talking like 18 inches, 2 feet of snow. It was so,
every HOA
had an special assessment. Yeah.
So in March, right, still snowy. You can't even park in the townhouse area because all the snow took over the parking lot.
The mountains of snow.
Yeah. The inventory 2026 compared with the 2024 is 23% more, which has shocked me when you compare, if you take consideration of the weather.
And
right?
in comparison that this winter,
to
last year's winter was very mild in 2025 as compared with
it's 11% more.
So
it's still more. And here's April. April is about almost 3,200 house compared with 2024's 21% more, compared with last year 8% more. Okay, because and then in May the compared with 2024 is 8% more, compared with last year almost even, almost head to head. Okay. I think because a lot of people put a house on the market much earlier.
Right.
So that's why they in April, in May, which is, normally it's a strong month, but it's almost the same 2 years, this year and last year, but more 8% more than 2024. And then in June, actually it's less. It's about 12% less than last year. It's 2,733. Last year's 3,306. So 2024 is 28. So 2024 and this year is almost similar. A little bit more 2024, slightly more. It's only but 12% lower. But I think that's because, number one, we had a very strong January, February, March, much strong listing, right, came to the market. Number two, in July, which is really surprised me. We still have a lot of house hit the market, July and August.
Which is seems kind of late, but as we learned in real estate, you can't go by logic. You would think logically July, August wouldn't make sense to list it. You'd want to list in the spring, but you've got homes, but who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
So it looks like from what you're saying for 2026, roughly on a given month, there was anywhere from 2,700 to 3,200 homes listed on that kind of range. And in comparison to most prior years, it was more than the past years, with the exception of like June or a few select months where it was even or maybe a little bit less.
So this year's overall, the 6 months, slightly more than last year, much more than 2024. So, and then another thing I really want to share with the audience is most important, right, is the sold. Okay? I mean, now we know the inventory is a little bit higher, and then how much we sold, right? I mean, if we do the average active listing, you have to know how much we sold, right?
Sure.
So the sold is actually this year compared with 2024 is a little bit, less actually. Compared with that means 2024 sold slightly more, like a 1%. It's not much, almost the same as 2024. But it's a little bit more than 2025. It's about only 2%. So if you give the
sold, what do you mean, the sold quantity or
close,
sold price?
No, quantity.
Quantity, okay. Units,
market share. So in that way, it's almost like 2026 versus the past 2 years, almost a similar amount of homes sold. So that's why, Ken, I draw the conclusion the market is still available. It's still stable,
right?
Stable. Yeah. So another thing is, right, I run a number which is see how much, because I know how much sold, right? So I run a number in July to see how many houses available, how many under contract. I try to understand if you have so many inventories, right, how many buyers out there. In any given year, if the inventory is much more than the buyer head count, that means the market definitely going down.
Stagnant. It's flat.
Yeah, going down. And as of today, we have about 1,156 active listings, and then 28 coming soon. Okay. And we in contract is about 1077, about 1,100. So if you look at that, it's almost 1-to-1. Yeah, 1-to-1 availability.
Do you have any idea, based on the data or your own experience, like what the average number of days on the market is before it's under contract?
Average is about 30
days
to 35, 40 days.
And that's consistent with what it was last year?
Last year
probably,
is shorter.
Maybe a little shorter, but 30 days is pretty good still.
Yeah, shorter. Yeah. But you compare with, if you compare with the previous before COVID years.
That's what I'm saying. It's
30
amazing.
days is amazing fast. But think about it. People only remember the immediate experience, right? So for a lot of seller already feel that's a slow. Because my girlfriend house sold one day. My neighbor sold one over the weekend. What's happened now today, right? We still have a house sold one weekend. We still have a house sold the first day.
But it's not the expectation for every house is going to do that, right?
Yes.
Where it was during the COVID era, and it was like on the weekends, and the expectation was you would sell it within a week, or if not that weekend, and it would be over, and you'd have multiple offers, at least above asking price, waiving the appraisal contingency. A lot of those scenarios are gone.
The time is gone.
But
like this
not always, though. There's still those home, even from our team meetings and just speaking to colleagues, there still are those homes in select neighborhoods in different towns where the buyers are waiving the appraisal contingency and are paying over asking price. But that's not the given. That's not
it depends on, as you said, can I agree with you, right? I read something a couple weeks ago, right? They said in North Jersey, right, they still 10% over. And then in Monmouth, it's 10% over.
And then in Hunterdon County, we had one agent, Marie, who advised that
it's still over. But in Central Jersey, depends on the town. Depends
on the town, though, too, right?
Depends on the town.
Go down towards, Manalapan, Holmdel. There's
still going, especially Marlboro, Manalapan, still very strong. Yeah. And it depends which town. So all these numbers, right, are average.
Right.
So I would suggest the owner, if you consider to sell or buyer ready to buy, hire local expertise. Okay. If you are thinking buying in North Jersey, you hire an agent doesn't know the local market may mislead you, and vice versa, right? I mean, how many times we had buyers, came to my open house complaining they missed out on my listing because the agent misled them. Recently, right, we just closed one house. We asked $749.9, right? At the end, we had overbid straight away, which is, as I said, depends on the house, right? And we had 4 or 5 big offers. At the end, we sold $825, right? But one of the family was extremely, extremely disappointed. They came to my other opener because they saw an open house. They tracked me down. They want to tell me what happened was. They told the agent they would pay, and they would pay up to $825. The agent told them the house not worth it, which is good. The agent tried to protect them. Yeah, right. But the agent say no, that house not gonna worth it. $800 is top. So they put in the offer like final and best $800. At the end, they lost the house when they saw the house under contract. I mean, they came, they want to bid, but it's too late. But even they bid, they give the best number $825. That's too late. If they give the $825 the day one when they saw the house originally, they may get it.
So their agent had good intentions in mind by trying to protect them, but by failing to be a local expert in the market, they missed the boat on it.
Yeah, they missed the boat because, a lot of time we really have to understand market. If the agent is not very active in the market or the agent in different market, they can't compare that. And before we end today, right, I know everybody want to hear, especially the pricing.
Let's talk about the pricing. Certainly,
the pricing is right. This year, I had to look the last 6 months, right, each month, and over the congregated number. I think this year, generally speaking, once again, I do have people still outbid the house by $100,000, which just happened, which is closed last week. But that's not normal. This year, by average, right, the sold price is less than last year, slightly.
Yeah. But is the sold price, how does it compare with the list price? Is it pretty much on point or it varies by?
It varies because list price is really based on, the seller and the agent.
And the agent coming to an agreeable thing. Yeah.
So I think today's show, I hope the buyer and the seller really, especially seller, think again when you have the listing price out there. And you better just consult local expert to list the house.
Yeah. And
what the house really worth.
Any predictions in the last 20 seconds for what the market's going to bear for the remainder of 2026? If you think it's going to be stable or
I think it's like a target war because, I think it's target war. So that's always the problem. Always the way you see it before the big job. Or before the job.
Okay, well, as they say, time will tell.
Yes.
That's right, and we'll see what the data says when we do the recap in January for 2026, which hopefully that'll take a while to go. We don't want the time to speed up. We don't want to be in a time zone warp. All right, we hope you guys enjoyed this show. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you.